Hello there, it's Dan here, and it's Sunday the 8th of October. Time marches on, as they say. So today I'm going to be making a video and we're going to be walking around the garden and I'm going to be showing you some crops I am harvesting. I'm also going to endeavour to give you quite a bit of information on them as I make this video, so hopefully you'll get a lot from it. So many of you are aware I gave up my allotment the earlier part of this year, and it's turned out for me, it's turned out to me to have been the right decision to have made, so that's good. So I might make a video talking about the pros and cons of me giving up the allotment, and of course you might get some valuable points from that which you can use yourself. So if you'd like me to make that video, please feel free to let me know in the comments section below. So we'll have a little look round. Before we start on this video, please feel free to like, share and of course subscribe if you'd like to be notified of any further videos I put up, and we shall now make a start. So many of you are aware I do like to grow pumpkins. So this year I've managed to get a crop of pumpkins, so nowhere near as big as I grew 2 years ago, nor as big as what I grew last year, but it's perfectly okay. In fact, in a way it's better because they're smaller and they are more manageable. So I've got a variety here, and this is Pacific Giant. So we'll pick one of these and you can have a look at it. So I hope this is coming out well here. Now, when you're picking a pumpkin, what you want to do is actually cut it from the stem. You want to leave, or from the actual plant I should say. You don't want to be damaging this stem here. So what you do is you cut like that, and you cut like that, and take bits off like that if you want, and then you've got a lovely pumpkin there that you haven't damaged the stem. Hopefully the actual pumpkin itself is not damaged, and this is more likely to store longer this way better. So yeah, this is a nice pumpkin, very manageable in size actually, and not too difficult to store, so that's wonderful. Now, a good temperature to store pumpkins at after you've hardened them off in the garden. So what you want to do is let them ripen, let them come to maturity, and then leave them about 10 days or so to harden off, and then you store them. You want to harvest them as well before they get subjected to a frost. So 2 years ago or so I made a quite detailed video on how to grow pumpkins, so you'll find that in the description box below, and I'll also put it at the top of the comment section, so that might be a video that might interest you. So yeah, not as big as what was shown in that video. Main two reasons will be because the soil here, I've not built it as probably as nutritious as the growing medium I used at the allotment at the time to grow them in. You'll see them on the video. They were grown basically in horse manure and they got very big indeed. And I also planted these out a little bit later than what was ideal, but never mind. Variety Pacific Giant, lovely pumpkin there. So a good temperature to store pumpkins at is about 10 to 12 degrees C, which is about 50 to 54 degrees Fahrenheit. So at this time of year I could store this outside in a shed or a garage, but it won't be too long now till the frosts are coming, and don't want to be subjecting it to frost. So then I'll take it inside if I want to keep it a little bit longer. That way you can probably keep these up until certainly around Halloween time, and maybe even up until Christmas, maybe a bit longer. You let me know what's the longest you've managed to store a pumpkin for. So in this container here, so this is a 30-litre container, which is about 6.6 imperial gallons, or about 7.9 US gallons. It's quite a nice size container to grow potatoes in. I've got a variety of potato here called Condor, and I'm growing this in my own homemade compost. If I remember correctly, the majority of this, I made it in a Dalek tumbler compost bin. So there we are, and it's also from last year's saved seed potatoes. So in effect, it's all been grown for free in here, which is grand. So we'll tip this out and see what crop we've got. So let's see what we've got here. Nice little harvest. Very good actually, because these will be good. Well, that's a good size one. These will be good for seed potatoes, because Condor seems to be not that easy to get hold of nowadays. So I'll probably end up keeping the majority of these for next year's growth. So that's a great thing. And in fact, we're actually getting quite a nice crop here. Of course, I can reuse this compost on the garden, can just spread it that way. Always enrich the soil, always making compost. Nice little harvest there. And yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Include that little one, 12 there. and that's grand for saving for next year, so I can still grow the old condor even if I can't buy the seed potatoes. So here I have a variety of pear called Concord, and I love this variety of pear. It's the offspring of the varieties of Conference and Commerce pears, and it resulted in this lovely variety. So it's actually self-fertile, which means if you've only got room for one pear tree in your garden, you can just grow one of these and you'll also get fruit from your own pollen, which is a very nice little addition. So taste-wise, real nice taste. Just a very, what I would call a peary taste. You really can like sort of taste, you know them sweets, pear drops, you can really taste them from this variety. So I've actually owned this tree for some time. Some of you may remember when I first started YouTubing, I was featuring this video then, and it was actually planted in the previous location, and then I moved it here, and it's just a beautiful variety to have growing. So I had a question the other day about pear trees sometimes giving you a crop one year and then not the next. Yes, that can indeed happen. What you can sometimes do in that case, if you can manage to do it, is offset different trees. So you could have, well, if you want two Concord pears, what you could do is you could get one cropping one year, and then when the other one rests, then have the other tree cropping, if you understand my meaning. So that can be a little thing you can consider doing if you want to. But yeah, really nice variety, highly recommended, the variety Concord. Some years it gives loads of small pears like I've got here. Some years it'll give less pears but bigger ones. So take your pick, take your chance. You can also thin pears, fruit, etc. Bit of research for you. But if you want a pear tree that's good, Concord is a grand variety to grow. So grapes, many of you are aware that I'm a very keen grower of grapes. So I've made many videos on grapes in the past. I'll link some in the description box below. You can check those out if you wish. But we'll cover a little bit of grapes here. So in the process actually of making a grapes video of this year, that'll be up in a few weeks or so, so you might want to stay tuned for that one. Anyway, let's have a look. So this is variety Lakemont seedless. Many of you are very well acquainted with this variety and this vine I've got here. So let's pick one here. I've picked many from here already, but there are some left. There's plenty more down there. So taste wise, really beautiful. This is a very small bunch, many of them are bigger. We'll get to those. So sweet, almost honey sweet when ripe, and when they go a real like yellow colour, they go absolutely beautiful, really sweet. So sometimes people ask me, I can only grow one grapevine, what variety should I grow? Well, for me it'd be Lakemont seedless all the time in this climate anyway. US variety does really well here, very vigorous. You can take cuttings, no big deal to grow. Let's look at some more. So the vine I just showed you, actually I took from a cutting a few years ago. This one here is actually a variety I purchased from it's a grafted vine. So I've actually eaten most of these from here. Oh, here we go, here's one. There you go, of course one would want to remove these dodgy ones here. But taste wise, delicious. So we'll just pan the camera. So the rootstock is in there, and what I've done is actually trained the vine all the way along here, and you can see how many bunches of grapes I've got here. Now this is part of a little experiment because they don't really get much sun here, and I'm wanting to see just how sweet grapes I can produce in an area where it doesn't get much sun. So you can see really not getting a lot of sun here. So sweetness wise, they're edible, but they need a little bit longer than the others, of course, because they're getting less sun. So I'm covering this in that video I mentioned, but you could see here just a sheer crop here. Now, of course, if these aren't generally for the average palate to eat, then I'll find someone to give them to make wine out of them. But like, certainly setting a good crop here. Well, set a good crop. And yeah, plenty of grapes, as you can see. So down here I've got a variety, of celery. And celery is a lovely crop to grow. So the thing when you grow celery is you want to start it off quite early, around February time. That's when I started this off anyway. And the seeds are quite small. So I germinated them inside and then I brought them out. you know, a few weeks or so, something like that afterwards. Now, I didn't prick them out, grow them individually. I modular sowed them and then just planted them out here. If I wanted these bigger, I'd separate them, etc., and plant them out, each plant one by one. Didn't have time to budget to do that. Could have made the time, but it wasn't on my list of priorities. So, full white celery, self-blanching, very easy to grow. Just want to make sure that you get it planted early. And it has been said that celery needs a lot of water so it doesn't go tough. Had plenty of rain this year, so it's been a very good year for celery. So got plenty of full white celery here to eat, and delicious it is too. So down here I'm growing some mooly radish. So this is otherwise known as winter radish. Planted these probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, something like that. You could probably get away with planting them now if you're in a climate such as what I've got here, USDA Zone 8B, but do a bit of your own research to see if it's applicable for you to grow where you are. Also growing some komatsuna here, otherwise known as Japanese green. Highly recommend you grow this. It's very hardy. It's said to also be drought resistant, so it could also be good for a summer crop as well, so you might want to look into that. Growing it actually in some of my own homemade compost. So composting is a great thing to get into. Some people can find it quite daunting. I remember when I first started gardening, it didn't go well the first few times, but you just keep at it and do it small. Start off small and tailor make it to your own situation. Don't turn around and say, oh, I'm going to make all my own compost. You know, if you've got a busy life, etc., and then you set yourself a goal like that, it might not be achievable. So start off small and build up from there, and before you know it, you'll be a whiz at making your own compost. So I'll show you a little bit of what I've got making over here. So I like to make my compost in these big containers here. So they're 375 litre containers, which is about 82 imperial gallons, or about 99 US gallons. So they're a big size. I got them from the local market, so it can be good to sometimes pick things up like this secondhand to save money and also for recycling. They're very easy for turning like this as well. I turn this one into here and I can make usable compost very quickly. I'll link a video in the description box below. In fact, I'll put a few composting videos in the description box below, and hopefully you can get some ideas and start making your own compost, because it's a very valuable thing to do for your garden. So that'll be just fine. I will be making some more videos later in the year, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Comments, questions, whatever, please feel free to comment, ask whatever in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed that. As always, thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you all in the next video.